Our next artwork is inspired by taking something ordinary and making it extraordinary through foreshortening of the object. So we're going to begin by brainstorming what kinds of objects we can find around the house that would be interesting to draw and to show in this foreshortened manner. So in your brainstorm, there's this quote by Georgia O'Keeffe. "Nobody sees a flower really. It is so small. We haven't time. And to see takes time, like to have a friend takes time." And so I want to use that quote as a springboard for looking around our houses for objects that could be interesting to draw. So you have a wide range of opportunities of different kinds of objects that might work for this. You'd want to pick something that was interesting to look at from different directions and angles, having interesting details. You'd want it to be small enough that you could bring to school so that you can photograph it. You would want objects that look good in monochrome. If the reason the object looks interesting is because it's in color, you wouldn't want to use that. You'd want to stay away from really cute objects or things that are supposed to be interesting to look at. The brainstorm for this on the quiz is due on Monday the 1st. Some of the suggestions I have for you is not really item selections, but things that you might find around your house. So objects that one barely notices, things that you found in resale shops or antique shops, things that maybe were found on the street or in the hall, something that's broken, something that's new, like a tool, maybe an old tool, objects that are shiny, things like metal, transparent objects like glass. It could be a family heirloom. It could be a tool that you use for something. It could be an object that you're obsessed with that nobody else really loves or gets. And it could be something that you cannot really live without. Now, I would suggest probably staying away from drawing your cell phone because it's not necessarily interesting to look at from all different angles. But I know it's definitely something that we typically love. Right? So here are some of the examples of past work. So how can an object and the angle tell a story? So we're going to be looking at the objects from a unique angle. And so foreshortening is where an object is coming at you. So notice that the toes of the shoe are pointing towards the viewer. And so things recede or go back into space. And we can really manipulate that foreshortening by the angles in which we choose to draw our objects. Right? So we will be taking our own black and white photos using either our Chromebooks or our phones. And then we will be learning how to foreshorten those objects. So we will practice that skill before we do it. Right? You can see the differences between something that's not foreshortened and something that is foreshortened, something's coming at you. So we will practice our drawing once we've selected which image we're going to use. We'll practice drawing it out, and then we'll transfer it onto another surface to render it using good value. I'm going to give you choice for this assignment. You can either use graphite or ballpoint pen, and so we'll do practice for both of those medias as well. So just a reminder about when your brainstorms are due. If this is this is for the current assignment that's being turned in to Canvas online, but if you are in a future class and you are beyond the date that you see posted, make sure you look at Canvas or whatever turn-in system we're using to make sure you know when your brainstorm is due and when you need to have your objects in on class. So for students in the spring of 21, our brainstorms will be due on the 31st. It is in the form of a quiz, so just keep that in mind. And then we have to have our objects in class on the 4th.